What's up YouTube? Quick video from myself, VJ Bang, hopefully to help some people out with their Sonos setups or the Sonos Beam 2 Generation 2 that I've just purchased recently. I was seeing some issues in the audio quality, and also some of the audio was dropping out as well. I've got a couple of Sonos devices in the house, and unfortunately you would plug them in and you would expect that they would just work seamlessly together over Wi-Fi, but unfortunately that isn't the case. So you may not have experienced this, you may have experienced it, but I just wanted to share the problems that I had, and like I say, hopefully help you guys out a little bit. So yeah, I'll take you downstairs, show you the setup, and let's get to it. So there's my Sonos Beam Gen 2. That's been working fantastically with the TV. No problems with audio there whatsoever. That's been great. What I should have done is I should have pre-recorded, recorded when I had the issues that I was seeing. I should have recorded an example and shown you guys, but it is what it is and I've fixed it now. So this is my Sonos One speaker. I brought this down when I set the Beam up. I thought, let me get surround sound going and test it out, see what it sounds like. I couldn't do that because unfortunately in the Sonos app you have to have two of these speakers to add them as surround sound speakers. So the only way to actually play this with the Beam at the moment, because I've only got one, is to group it. And when I grouped it, I was getting slight delays from this speaker in terms of the sound that I was getting from the Beam. So I'm going to add some additional speakers. I'm going to get a Sonos One SL over there and one over there. I'm going to put those on stands. And I'm going to get the SL versions because they don't have the Google Assistant, and that's for my setup, that's not required. So I've also got this sub and the Sonos Connect Amp over here. That's connected to my ceiling speaker in the kitchen, and I've also got one in the dining room. Christmas is coming up. We me, kids and the wife, whatever, we want to have a party. I just want to be able to play music through the TV or Spotify, what have you, through the Beam and through all these speakers downstairs. So unfortunately, I was getting, from these ceiling speakers here, I was getting a drop in sound. So when I say drop in sound, I mean like it was going, playing and it was going, that's the best example I can give, but that was what I was hearing. And it sounded as if my network wasn't capable of, feeding the data through quick enough to play the sound in sync. So that was the problem, and that's my setup. So that was what I was facing. So I then had a look online and I came across a solution, and I'll go upstairs and I'll share that with you now. Right, so this is the page that I came to find via forums, etc., which is a Sonos page. Very helpful. I will leave the link in the description for you guys. But essentially what you want to do to fix the issues I've explained is switch your setup from a wireless setup to a wired. So what that means is all you need to do is add one of your Sonos speakers in your setup with an Ethernet port. So you just need to connect an Ethernet port into, with my setup, it will be the Sonos One, the Beam, or the Connect Amp, and plug an Ethernet port into that. And what it will do, it will then switch your setup to a wired setup. So I've actually got I'll show you this shortly, but I've got a IKEA Symphony speaker quite close to my router, which is actually upstairs because I moved it. So essentially I plugged a network cable in the back of my router straight into my Symphonist IKEA speaker, bookshelf speaker. And that then put my whole setup on a wired setup. So follow these instructions in the link that I posted. If you want to then, once you've done that, go to this link here, check if your system is in a wireless or wired setup. So if you click on that, what you will see is this system page here. So if you go into the app, you go into the settings and look at about my system, you will then see the descriptions down below. So what this did for me by plugging an Ethernet port is switched everything over to a WM0 mode. That then put it into a wired setup. If you've got WM1 in these settings, then obviously it's still on a wireless setup and you may still see the issues. So as I mentioned earlier, this is my IKEA Sonos speaker that I've got in the office. I've got my Ethernet cable going into the back of that, into some trunking just to keep it neat, and then back out into the actual router. That's what gives us the wired connectivity for the whole Sonos system. And just to clarify, this is what I was referring to as an Ethernet port. I meant Ethernet cable or network cable. This is what you need to plug in to give you that connectivity. So this fixed the issues that I was having with the delays and also dropout in audio once I added the Sonos Beam Gen 2 to my setup. So hopefully that was useful for somebody, and if you've got any comments, let me know and I'll try and answer them. Drop a thumbs up. This is my first video actually, so appreciate some love, and hopefully see you soon.